My name's Megan. I'll be your physical therapist today.
Okay.
So I see you're having some right hip pain. So we're going to do a few tests and measures as well as some exercises later on to get a feel for what's going on in your hip, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to be kind of touching you a little bit in certain areas. I'll let you know everything before we start anything, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is have you lay down on your back. So I'm going to start everything on your left hip just so you can kind of feel what the motions are going to be that I'm going to go through, as well as I can see what your normal range of motion or accessory motion is like. All right, so the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to just move your right leg kind of out of the way a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring your left leg towards the other one until we feel it stops right about there, okay? So now I'm just going to poke around on your hips. Is that okay?
Yes.
So we're just going to line up the goniometer. Can I have you do a favor for me and just put your fingers right there? Perfect. All right, so just going to line up the goniometer. You can go ahead and move those right in line with the patella. Okay, and you're about 30 degrees there. That's perfect.
Okay.
Any pain?
No.
Okay, awesome. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and move that left leg out of the way. And again, move that right leg in. Again, can you poke right on those two bones for me? Okay, you can go ahead and move those. Right in line. Okay, and you're 20 degrees on this side. Do you have any pain?
Yes.
Okay, where's your pain for this one?
Right here.
Right there. Okay. Something called the Faber's test. It stands for flexion, abduction, external rotation. Don't worry about that. Essentially what it is, it's a figure 4 position. You might have seen it with people doing stretches like this where they kind of stand here and sit back. But we can also use it as a test to test your gluteus medius muscle, which is the muscle that runs along the outside of your thigh. So it helps with posture, standing, walking. So you notice when you're standing, you kind of stand with your hip out. This is that muscle that kind of keeps you up nice and straight. So you just want to check and see if there's any tension in the tendon or in the front fibers at all, okay? So I'm going to start on your left side. And all I want you to do is bring your heel, and you're going to kind of put it on your ankle here, and just slide up until you're right above your kneecap, okay? I'm going to poke around just on your hip just to hold you down, and then I'm going to apply some pressure on your knee. Okay, do you have any pain with that?
Yeah.
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 Where's your pain?
Right here.
Okay. Would you say it's a lot of pain, a little bit?
Mild.
Okay. Alright, so now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. You can go ahead and relax that leg. And now, I just want you to bring that leg up again. Perfect. I'm going to hold you down and apply some pressure. How's that feel?
I feel pain.
Pain? Same as the other side? Yes. Okay. Is we're going to test your abductor muscles. So the muscles that go along the outside of your thigh that allow you to kind of kick out towards the sides or do monster walks, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So what I'm going to have you do is roll onto your right side for me. And I'm just going to come behind you. So I'm just going to get on the table a little bit here. Okay, so you can keep your arms nice and relaxed wherever you are. I want you to make sure that you're not going to roll your hips backwards. Keep them nice and square here. And what you're going to do is straighten out that knee for me and just lift your leg towards the ceiling as high as you can. Okay, good. And back down to about halfway, right about there. Okay, now I'm going to apply some pressure down towards the ground. I want you just to hold it there and don't let me push, okay? Hold, 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 hold. Okay, good. You can relax. Any pain?
No.
Okay, awesome. So I'll give you a 4+ out of 5. You're able to hold against strong to moderate pressure. That's great. And now we're going to do the same thing here on your right side. So I'm going to have you flip directions. Okay. We're going to do the same thing. So again, bring that leg nice and straight out. Bring it as high as you can. Okay, good. And bring it back down just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. Apply some pressure down. Okay, any pain there?
Yes.
Where do you feel the pain?
Right here.
Right on the outside. And what would you give it out of 10? 10 being emergency room.
6.
A 6? Okay. I'm gonna also, you can roll back onto your back. So I'm gonna give you a 3+ out of 5 for that. You were able to hold against slight pressure, which is good, but we can definitely work. What we're gonna do today is something called the posterior glide. So essentially what this is, it's called joint mobilizations. Your joint is kind of surrounded by a capsule, and that capsule can get tight in certain areas, whether it be the front, the back side, wherever, due to adhesions or just an overuse inflammation, that kind of thing. So what I'm gonna do is, because you have limited flexion in your hip that we had checked earlier, I would just wanna see if that's coming from a muscle issue, say your hamstrings, because those were tight as well, or if it's coming from the capsule itself.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do this glide. Should not be painful at all. If there is any pain on either side, please let me know. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of stick my hand inside your hip joint a little bit here. I'm gonna apply some pressure down towards the table. Okay?
Yep.
Feel okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So I just need you to relax. I'm just gonna hold onto your leg. Just stay nice and relaxed there. So I'm gonna pull you in just a little bit of abduction, just so that you're in that fully open position, so I can get a really good feel on the capsule itself, okay? So now I'm just gonna apply some downward pressure, and I'm gonna go to tissue resistance, so I can kind of feel a stretch. You might feel a little bit in the back. And then I'm just gonna go a little bit past to see what your end feel feels like. Okay, I'm gonna do that just one more time, just to get a good feel. Okay, great. Any pain with that?
No.
Okay, that side feels really good. And now we're gonna do the exact same thing here on the other side. So I'll just have you scoot towards me on this side a little bit. Perfect. And again, I'm just gonna hold your leg, just stay nice and relaxed, and pull you into that little bit of abduction. Again, right in the hip joint. Push down to tissue resistance. It's a little bit past if we can. You're definitely tighter on this side. I'm gonna try one more time just to see what your end feel feels like. Okay, good. Any pain with that?
No.
Okay, so that's good. You are moderately tight, I would say, on this side, but you have no pain, so that's great. I'm gonna start with massage, which probably sounds pretty good to you.
Yes.
So there's 2 different types that I'm gonna do with you today. One's called effleurage, which is just kind of like a light touch with a little bit of pressure, just to kind of get your tissues used to how my hands feel, as well as just loosen up any tight structures that you have on the outside of your leg here.
Okay.
The second one we're gonna use is something called deep friction massage. And I'm gonna go right up to the tendon of your gluteus medius muscle and kind of get in there, rub pretty hard. It's gonna most likely be a little uncomfortable, a little sore. I just want you to know that you shouldn't feel pain while we're doing this though. Uncomfortable and sore is okay, but I don't want you, shooting pain, anything that's like you can't take it anymore. You have to let me know, okay?
Okay.
So what we're gonna do to get you set up is roll on your left side for me. And I'm just gonna put this pillow between your legs.
Okay.
So the reason I'm doing that is, like we talked about with our home exercise program and some patient education, is that we want to limit any of the compressive forces that we're putting on that tendon here. So that gluteus medius muscle we talked about is the one that keeps you up nice and right, and it can be overstretched sometimes with increased activity or inflammation. So making sure that we keep this leg in a nice neutral position instead of it kind of flopping over the other one will help limit any stresses or compression on that tendon, okay?
Okay.
So I'm just gonna set you up here with a towel. Do you mind if I roll your shorts up a little bit?
Nope.
Okay. So I'm gonna drape you. Just so I can see the area. Okay. Second towel here. Alright, so any allergies that I should know about?
No.
Okay. So like I said, this first one should feel nice and comfortable. Just some light pressure to start. We're just gonna kind of go in some circles. So I'm gonna do this for about 8 minutes.
Okay.
Before we get into that deep friction massage, just to get you nice and relaxed. So I did notice that when we did some other testing that your IT band was pretty tight as well, which is that big band of tissue on the outside of your leg here. So this can help with that as well, just by helping relax the tissues around it. Will hopefully help relax that tendon.
Okay.
How's the pressure so far?
It's good.
Good? Okay. This one should be nice and relaxing.
Yes.
Okay, so that was 8 minutes. Now I'm gonna get into that deep friction massage.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna find your greater trochanter, or really what is that kind of large bump that you might feel, bony bump on the side of your hip. And what I'm gonna do is just go back and forth across that tendon, okay? So I'm using this to help realign the fibers so that your muscle can work more efficiently, as well as break up any adhesions that you may have within the tissue, as well as decrease any remaining inflammation if you do have any, okay? So we're gonna do this one for about 6 minutes. Again, it shouldn't feel pain, but you might feel uncomfortable. How's that feel?
That's fine.
Fine? Okay. Okay, so that was 6 minutes. Some testing earlier where I was pushing on your hip down towards the ground just to test out your capsule. Okay, so we're actually gonna do that exact same thing now. So I'm gonna have you scoot towards the edge a little bit for me. So we can actually use this as a therapeutic technique as well. So by applying pressure for 45 seconds, we're gonna do that 3 times to that area. We can help increase the stretch in that area and hopefully get you more hip flexion. Okay? Just move the stool over. All right, so again, just stay nice and relaxed for me. Just gonna pull you out a little bit. I would ideally do this with a strap, but unfortunately I don't have one here. So we're just gonna hold, I'm gonna use kind of my thigh here and my hand to keep your leg up while I'm doing this, because it does get tiring for both of us. Again, you shouldn't feel any pain with this one, so I'm gonna do something called a grade 4 oscillation. So really what that means is I'm just gonna do like little bounces past your point of tissue resistance. So we're really gonna get a good stretch in that posterior capsule, okay? It might feel a little funny in the back of your thigh. That's normal. Just again, yell if you get any pain, okay?
Okay.
So just finding inside the capsule here. All right, and we're gonna go down to tissue resistance. And we're just gonna bounce. So it's not gonna feel like a big motion, just a little bit of bouncing past that tissue resistance to get a nice stretch. So we're gonna do this for 45 seconds, 3 times, so after each one you get a nice break. Followed by, we'll do some hip flexion, range of motion, so some stretching, just to kind of get you working within that hopefully new motion that we gained from you, okay?
Okay.
How you doing, okay?
Yep.
Any pain?
No.
Awesome. Okay, so that was 45 seconds. Something called sideline clamshells. So this is gonna be an exercise to help strengthen your adductor muscles, so those muscles right here, like we talked about on the side of your hip, which is what we need to work on the most with you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this red band and put it around your legs up to about just above your kneecaps, okay? Ideally I would use yellow, but we have red. Do you have a latex allergy or anything? Okay, so I'm gonna have you stay here for a sec. We're just gonna put this band on. Other foot, perfect. Now bend your knees up for me. There we go. Just gonna flatten this out so it doesn't dig into your legs. Okay, now can I have you roll onto your left side for me? Okay, good. So can you just open your leg just a little bit? Okay, so we're gonna put this towel in. You can stay nice and relaxed now. Again, just to limit any stretch to that gluteus medius tendon or the muscles on the side here, so that we can really let it calm down while we're working it still, okay? So these clamshells, what I want you to do is I'm just gonna move your feet back just a little bit, right there. You're gonna keep your feet together, and while you have your feet together, you're gonna bring your knee towards the ceiling. Good. And so with this, do you see how you're starting to open your hips up a little bit when you do that? I want you to really focus. I'm gonna be here to kind of give you some feedback, just to keep those hips nice and square. So if you can't go as high, that's fine. I want you to work within a range that you're comfortable. So you're gonna pull up again, right to there, perfect. Back down nice and slow, don't let it snap back, perfect. And up again. Good. So we're gonna do 3 sets of 10 of this one, okay?
Okay.